So we are finally at season 2 of American Gods. And before this season came out, there was a lot of turmoil after season 1. First off, showrunner Brian Fuller out. And that was because of budget restraints from Starz and them not agreeing to how much they're going to spend on the show. And with that, Kristen Chenoweth, who played Easter, and Gillian Anderson, who played Media, which is a big part, pieced out because they were like, Brian Fuller's our guy. So we get a new showrunner, and then that showrunner leaves. So that's never a good sign, having that much chaos behind the scenes after one season of a show. So you're getting a ton of bad press before this season comes out. It takes forever for it to come out after season 1. Not looking good. But with my lowered expectations, this premiere to me was shockingly pretty good. Now, before I get into my review, just keep in mind I have not read the book American Gods. And for the sake of TV discussion only, please keep spoilers out from the book down below. Only reference things that have already happened in the show. So I like the opening. Already shows the pace of this season is going to be a lot quicker than season 1. We jump right where we left off, where we see the aftermath of Odin and Easter kicking some serious butt to the new gods. And right away, I like that Crispin Glover is getting more screen time in this one episode than any episode he was in last season. He was super underutilized, but I got it because they wanted to build him up. Now we get to see him in his full zone here. And it was smart they opened with the villains here and their revenge plot, amping things up a bit. How are they going to respond to this huge thing that happened to them? It's your move now. And I love the contrast between Mr. World and Technical Boy. Technical Boy here in this scene is all emotions and instinctual, acting like a boy that he is. He was like this when he decided to lynch Shadow, not really thinking about the consequences of his actions. But you see Mr. World is someone who wants calculated approaches here and to take their time and figure out a smart way to take down the old gods. So I like that relationship too, and how they kind of not see eye to eye on those things, and that it shows Technical Boy's big flaw and weakness. So Mr. World's going to go up now to Blackbriar, and Tech Boy is going to find Media. It's going to be interesting to see how this plays out because of the actress of Media, Gillian Anderson, not on the show anymore. And she was mesmerizing in the role, so I hope they figure out something good. It's going to be tough, but we'll see. So now it shifts here to our motley crew of Shadow, Wednesday, Laura, and Sweeney, all in this car arriving to Wisconsin. Again, moving this plot at a quick pace. And we're finally going to see the meeting of the old gods here. And it's going to take place at the House of the Rock, an actual real location in Wisconsin. So they kind of sneak in the background of this, not as jarring as it was in season 1 when they would do a Coming to America narration, but it's here. It's a little more subtle, and it's talking about Alex Jordan when he built the House on the Rock. And he basically just charged money to visit this weird circular building with random things. And it's kind of setting up this theme of this House on the Rock. It's like its own new god in a way, of just attractions and consumerism, and the people just buy whatever. And they talk about this later on when they're referencing the hot dog carts and vendors. It kind of makes us just look like sheep in a way, especially when it comes to what we buy. And I already love this setting here. The inside of the House of the Rock looks awesome. It's got that spooky carnival vibe going on. Adds more mystery to this. And actually effectively worked in making this meeting even bigger. And we see Bilquis is here. And she's an interesting part in all this because she's got her foot in the side of the new god. So is she playing a little bit of a mole here? We're going to see what her stance actually is, what her end game is. And we get a reunion here of Salim and the Djinn. And Salim is relieved to finally find him, and it's not what the Djinn wanted. Or deep down, is it? And now we see our motley crew is struggling to get into the building, trying to open this gate. And I love when that spider appears in Mr. Nancy and that saxophone plays. That background track is perfect. The music in the show is always amazing and really original and well done. It really is such a huge storytelling piece in the show, is the music, which you don't see that much anymore. And I love Orlando Jones in this role. It's good to see him in the beginning here. But some of the writing that they're giving him is not as sharp as season 1 with the jokes. In particular, the line where he explains why Easter's not there and says to Wednesday, it's because you mowed over her rabbits like a rabbit racist. Cringeworthy. But obviously they put in this line because, again, Kristen Chenoweth left the show. But the creators have said that Easter appears later in the book anyway, so it's something they can figure out down the road if she might come back or they recast her. It's not something they're too concerned about at the moment, so it makes sense. And I like this rivalry that's been built up now between Wednesday and Laura. And Wednesday's already telling Laura she's not invited to the party, and you know he's doing this because he knows she is a threat to his control of Shadow Moon, and she wants to protect him now. And this is good, this conflict, because it adds more importance to Laura's character, her purpose being protecting Shadow from what Odin's really got up his sleeve. What I am liking too is having this Salim connection to the Jinn be revisited here. And again, having Laura Moon connected to Shadow, because it's important they have human characters connect to these big characters and ground them and give them purpose. Because remember, in this show, the gods need the humans to survive and thrive. And the humans, when they suffer, are looking for the gods. So it's smart they keep those characters around. So I really like this part where we see this fortune teller machine giving out prophecies. And a lot of stuff is telling here. Bilquis, you don't see her fortune. She just sneaks away with it. Odin laughs at his, clearly not liking what it said. And he says back to Shadow, a man's fortune is his own business. And when Shadow goes to get his, I really like this montage of going inside this machine and spookingly popping out this prophecy. And what I could take away from some of it was, your lucky color is dead. Gotta relate to Laura Moon here, her having the coin in there, and that's also his love. And of course, self-explanatory, every end is a new beginning. This is the story of Shadow. And then a big one is motto, like father, like son. Now this is a whole big mystery with Shadow here, is what is the deal with his father? What happened there? He doesn't know him. And also you can look at it as, is this relating to Odin in a way, that this is his father, his god, that he's now looking as that figure and following his order and command? So it's hinting at there's a relation to whoever they're referring to as a father with Shadow and how he behaves. And then another cringy line they're giving Mr. Nancy here. And he's like, it's a mother effing fortune from a dummy. Dummy. Come on, just end it at dummy. Why are they doing these little repeat the word jokes? Those aren't ever funny. And don't tell me they're purposely making Mr. Nancy corny. His jokes were on point in season 1. And then Wednesday kind of alludes to this coming to America narration when he's walking down with them, bringing them to the carousel, talking about people building big buildings so people feel its power, a part of something, comparing it to churches. And obviously this random circle building they're in. And it's just kind of showing you that things like this humans gravitate to, but at the end of the day, you're buying these hot dogs, t-shirts, and you kind of feel empty at the end. It's like all for show. Again, attractions. So now we get this awesome scene where we see this carousel. It looks amazing. Props to the production design team. This setting couldn't be done any better. And I love how they shot this all from Shadow's perspective. Him seeing this spectacle, the carnival music playing. It's like he's getting sucked into it. And the sign even says, do not ride this. But what does Shadow do? He rides it. He listens to the gods luring him in. It's all this temptation. And you tell this is just bad news when he gets on that carousel. But it was really awesome. They filmed this shot when it starts spinning up. I like that Willy Wonka boat scene. Definitely was inspired by that. And it was an awesome transition to Wednesday's memories. And then you see beautifully Shadow wakes up on the beach. This is the same beach that the show season 1 opened up with that bloody violence Odin caused. And we see Bilquis, and she's calling this backstage. And I love this line they give Bilquis here, where she's talking about if this was inside her head, it'd be warm and there'd be love, beds to make love on. And you see now the opposite is Odin's head, it's all cold. And the camera angles here are really great. They're just off center, but they're abstract angles to show you how Shadow is feeling in that moment. The show always does a great job of keeping you in Shadow's shoes. I am so happy they addressed the biggest complaint of season 1 people had, was that it was getting old hat that Shadow was Mr. Questions and didn't know what was going on and just following the leader. But he's getting a bunch of answers in this episode to make his character more tolerable and Okay, now he knows what's going on. He's not just a walking idiot anymore. Seeing that all these people are gods, that he's Odin for sure now. And this was awesome scene with the meetings of gods. I mean, seeing Odin really as Odin was very cool with that eye. And some big name drops for all you Marvel heads or mythology nuts with Loki and Thor. And remember, Loki was in the first episode of season 1 as Shadow's prison mate. So you wonder if they'll bring him back. I'm sure they will. And knowing they had budget restraints for this season, it looks pretty good for that being the case. At least for Starz TV, I didn't think it was bad effects. The effects did their purpose in showing us what these gods look in their truest god form. So it worked. And this is all Odin's wheelhouse. Pitching war against the new gods. But now we get to see Bilquis gets her say here, pitching that they should evolve, adapt to the new gods, and work together. So she's got honest intentions here. This is where we see Shadow's importance for Odin. He's the human voice that these gods are susceptible to because they know they need it. He believes Odin's master plan. I lost everyone I cared about, which was caused by Odin himself, and he has no idea. But why did Odin do this? Again, he needs Shadow to have that tragedy to look up to him. And Shadow's giving Odin the credit, giving him purpose again, to believe again. But honestly, this is going to bother me a bit that Laura hasn't told Shadow yet that Odin was the one who got her killed. I mean, are we expected to believe she's going to hold out telling him that? Please comment below if I'm misreading this, but it really feels strange, and it's going to be annoying if they delay that because it's just not believable. And it cuts back from this sequence after this was convincing argument by Shadow, and we're back to the real world when they're in the diner. And listen to the song in the background. The lyrics are saying, "Drink to this fool, crazy fool, who told his baby goodbye." This is all what Shadow is doing. He's being a fool, trusting Odin, being crazy, and he's letting go of Laura in bits. And it's interesting reactions by these gods laughing at Shadow now when he's asking about, are they really gods? What did we see on that carousel? And they're acting like they have no idea. This is making me confused too, and it's of course making Shadow's head spin. So you're always relating to Shadow, and it's effective in the show how they do that. So we see Bilquis actually has on her phone, using the new tech of the new gods, a tracking mechanism, and this is getting sent up to Mr. World and Tech Boy. And then we see really quick though, Laura tells Shadow, Wednesday is dangerous, don't trust him. But again, why not hear what she say? He tried to kill me. Just tell him. And then Mad Sweeney gets a great line here. And he says to Laura, your puppy's gone now. He's Wednesday's now. Hurts when someone takes what's yours, doesn't it? Oh snap. Got him. Obviously referring to the coin that she took of his. And now Crispin Glover has an awesome monologue here and delivers it amazing. Declaring the need to put fear into the old gods. Sending a message to Mr. Town to execute and get target. You get some really cool shots now of bullets flying in. I like the one shot of the gore in the eye. And then Shadow goes out to fight this sniper. And he basically gets alien abducted. So he's the package Mr. World was talking about. And we get reveal the big casualty target was Zaraya, who Wednesday and Chana Borg have a soft spot for. So clearly that's why Mr. World chose her to really stick it into them. So this premiere to me was shockingly great. It was a quicker paced episode than any I can remember from last season. Big thing here is they got Shadow to learn a ton. Much need to get him out of the confused idiot role. Awesome tone the whole episode, and creepy visuals really worked. This actually made me excited for what's to come next. There's big players involved in this episode, and they all got equal time to shine. So new show creators so far, so good. I'm giving this episode a 9. Let me know what you thought of it down below. I'd love to hear what you rate this episode. Please comment with any thoughts you have. I read every comment and try to respond as many as I can. Please subscribe so you don't miss one of my reviews of American Gods. I review a bunch of other TV shows as well. And please follow me at SteveVarley1 on Twitter and Instagram for more of me. And I'll see you next time.